What if I told you that you only need one lens to shoot 98% of your projects? Whether you're into filmmaking, photography, YouTube content, or client work, this lens can do it all. Today I'll show you why the 24-70mm is one of the most versatile lenses out there, how it stacks up against primes, and when, if ever, you might need something else. And yes, I'm filming this entire video with the 24-70mm f2.8, so you can judge for yourself. Let's dive in. The biggest advantage of a 24-70mm zoom is simple: flexibility. At 24mm you can get that nice wide angle shot, perfect for establishing shots, vlogs, real estate and travel footage. Move to 35mm and you're in prime lens territory, great for interviews and cinematic b-roll. At 50mm you hit the classic standard focal length, ideal for portraits and general purpose shots. And finally, at 70mm you get that natural compression, beautiful depth, separation and a flattering perspective for headshots, close-ups and telephoto style. With one lens, you're covering the work of 4 prime lenses. So why not just use prime lenses? Yes, primes are sharper, faster and better in low light, but the difference today is smaller than ever. The 24-70 on modern cameras delivers stunning results, and the advantages of not switching lenses outweigh the slight sharpness difference in most real-world scenarios. To prove it, let's compare. First, the 35mm f1.4 versus the 35mm at f2.8. The f1.4 has slightly better bokeh and low light performance, but when I'm at 35mm with the 24-70, the difference becomes almost negligible. Next, the 85mm f1.4 versus the 70mm slightly cropped in. The 85mm f1.4 is incredible for portraits, but the 24-70 is still incredibly sharp with great background separation. For most people, the convenience of not carrying multiple primes far outweighs the tiny sharpness advantage primes have. Some argue that f2.8 isn't fast enough for low light or shallow depth of field, but modern cameras are so good in high ISO that this is rarely an issue. At f2.8, you can still get beautiful background blur. You'll rarely need to crank the ISO past acceptable noise levels, and your shots will look professional without being too overly blurred, which can sometimes look unnatural. If you need more blur, step back, zoom in, and let compression do the work. Now, let's be real. No single lens is perfect for everything, but for 98% of use cases, the 24-70 is enough. When might you need something else? If you're shooting ultra wide, 60mm or wider for real estate, astrophotography or extreme perspective shots, or if you need a super telephoto 100mm plus for wildlife, sports or specific cinematic shots. Maybe you shoot in near darkness and you cannot add extra lights, then sure, an f1.4 might be necessary. But unless you specifically shoot these styles, you won't need those lenses most of the time. So which 24-70 should you get? Here's a quick breakdown. The best budget option in my opinion is the Tamron 28-75. It's around 800 euros, lighter, slightly smaller range, but still great, and the second version is amazing. Best price to performance, the Sigma 24-70 Art. Incredible sharpness, cheaper than the Sony version. And the best high-end is the Sony 24-70mm f2.8 GM2. It's around 2,300 euros, but peak image quality and autofocus. If you're on a budget, the Sigma or Tamron options will still get 95% of the quality of the high-end versions for half the price. And let's talk about real-world scenarios to see where this lens truly shines. First, cinematic b-roll. At 24mm, I capture a wide establishing shot. At 50mm, I get a mid-range detail shot. And at 70mm, I compress the background for a cinematic close-up. No need to swap lenses, just zoom. Then for interviews and YouTube videos, I use 35mm for a natural intimate look. If I want a closer shot, I just zoom into 50-70mm instead of switching lenses. And for event and wedding filmmaking, you can capture the entire scene at 24mm, then zoom in for portraits at 70mm. No lens changes, no waste of time, just shoot. For me, the main advantage if you're a one-man band shooting with this lens is that if you're shooting a wedding or an event, for example, it looks like there were several shooters at the event. Because you have so many different focal lengths, you have a variety of shots in your wedding gallery, for example. And then you can pick your favorites. If the white doesn't look pleasing, you can just take the portrait. If you're only shooting with a prime lens, you're not able to switch the lenses fast enough in situations like weddings where you don't have the time to swap lenses. After testing, shooting and using this lens for everything, I can confidently say if you can only own one lens, it's the 24-70. It's not just a convenience lens, it's a workhorse that can handle almost any situation. It's versatile for both video and photo, and it offers the perfect balance of quality, speed and range. And it eliminates the hassle of constant lens swapping. Unless you have very specific needs, this will be the only lens you'll ever need. What do you think? Would you use a 24-70 as your one and only lens? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If this video helped you, don't forget to like the video and subscribe for more filmmaking tips. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.